Sofia, Bulgaria, in the morning.
Not only in Europe, but also in the entire world. Traces of settlements are dated back by historians to the 7th millennium BC, left by representatives of one of the earliest living civilizations on the planet Earth. I know that after we finish the city tour, you will go to National History Museum, and there my colleague will further prove what I'm saying with some artifacts that are exhibited in the rich collection of the National Museum of History. So anyway, after the disappearance from the face of Earth of the representatives of this earliest living on Earth civilization, there is the so-called empty cultural layer discovered by archaeologists, which means that some world cataclysm probably put an end to the existence of this earliest living civilization, and then the next cultural layer after the empty one was left by the next native population mostly on the Balkan Peninsula, but more precisely in what now is the land of Bulgaria, the ancient Thracian tribes. I'm sure that
blinded thousands of Bulgarian soldiers as a memorial.
We have in Europe population like Latin, Romans, you know where they are located. Then you have the Greeks, you know where they are located. Now we are speaking about the Macedonians, we don't know exactly why they are. The Greeks say they are Greeks. The Romanians say they are Thracians. The Macedonians say, no, we are really Macedonian, we don't know. If you ask me like this, if you ask me from outside saying like this, I think they were Greeks. Yes, savage Greeks, but depending on the Greek culture. Yeah, that's very important. Then you have another population that I'm pretty sure you have heard, it's called Celts. That you have the Celtic population. In France, in Spain, and mostly they remain in Britain. And some of the Celts relics remaining somewhere in the north of Scotland, like the name of the place, in Welsh. And some of them, you know, even they remain even in what is now France, in the peninsula of Bretagne. They still speak that Scottish Celtic language. Yes? And the third major population that we see now, I will invite you in front of the This blue is Danube. Okay, now if you follow the blue line, the Danube, and you go at the upper side of the Danube, when you see a triangle, yes, this triangle has it's a Greek letter. You know how you call a triangle? So now we have over there the Danube. The Danube Delta. Yeah, now you found even the origin of the Danube Delta. The northern creek of this Danube Delta has the name of Chilia because at the end over there, in a small island, now belongs to Romania, it's called the Snake Island, it was born Brad Pitt, Achilles. So that's the birthplace of Achilles, it's not marked, yes? So we have Thracian in the south, and if you notice you have a lot of names over there. Don't try to remember the names because it's not necessary. And one single name in the north. It's strange because both were Thracian. But one of the populations, the one in north, was connected with the Persians. The Persians were from Iran and they liked the monarchy, so they create a single kingdom, while the one in the south, they were friends with the Greeks, where I have my Greek my Greek friend is somewhere here, with the Greeks, and you know the Greeks always fight each other, so they never create a single state. So Romans came and conquered much quicker the south part of the Danube, and took another 300 years till they conquered the north part of the Danube, yes, the kingdom of the Dakai. Why? Because the Dakais acted like a single kingdom, and that's Romania. It's easy for you now, yes? So north of the Danube is Romania, south of the Danube is Bulgaria over here, and if you go on that direction it's Serbia, yes? Why the Romans first conquered the south and then the north? It's because in the north, under the influence of the Persian Empire, they created a kingdom who was strong enough to resist another 500 years. Now, if you look it over there where it says Besoi, I just want to point to this one. Besoi, this is Spartacus. Yes, Spartacus was the leader of the tribe of Besoi. For the one of you who are going to Rila, that's the place where the Spartacus tribe was original. Okay, question.
If Romania was the land,
Collapse. The Slavic population came, yes, and they invaded all the territory, what is now Romania and what is now Bulgaria, Serbia, and the other one. And the question is, how come in Romania remain the Latin language, and how come in the south we are using the Slavic language, yes? North Romania has no many amphitheaters. It has amphitheaters and theaters and cities, but not a lot. They have the most important things for the Romans: gold mine, salt mine, and marble mine. For these types of business, what do you need to be protected? What? Soldiers, yes? In the south, we have culture, we have sarcophags, I will show it, art, ritons to drink, gold, yes? So when the Slavic population came, they became dominant in the south because the number of the soldiers were less, and they have been defeated in the north because they were not very scholastics, but they were mainly soldiers. It's very interesting, totally different. You have to understand something. In Europe, always the ruling class, it's imposing the will. And we are all, let's say, English speaker. I will give you an easy explanation. In Mexico, the Spanish were a minority. In Peru, the Spanish were a minority. But they were the rulers. They imposed the language. For English speakers, I will give you an example. Do I have any English language teacher in the group? Okay, let's try to do it. We eat beef, but we grow up what? Cow. We eat pork, and we have near in the farm pigs. We eat mutton, and around us it's lamb, sheep. Yeah? Why? Have you ever asked it why? We use different words. I'm going back in the history of England in the year 1066 when the Normans conquered the Saxon in England. Have you heard about the Wilhelm the? Yes, he conquered. Normans were speaking French. When they conquered England, they established castles like the one that you've seen, and they ruled with iron fist the rest of the Saxons. The Saxons were peasants. The noblemen were Normans. The Norman was eating the animal. The Saxon was taking care of the animal. So you have one word for the Norman, yes, which is a French, pork, beef, yes, maton, and one word for the poor peasants who were doing another interesting thing. Slavic population in what is now Russia, you can see, they were totally not organized. And the Swedish came and organized the Russians. You know how the Slavic told to the Swedish, what's the name? Rosh population. So that's why the name of the country is Russia, yes? I will give you another name that you all know. Vandals, who was an elite German tribe. They emigrated in Spain and they created their own kingdom. All the others were obedient to the Vandals, yes? And the Vandals create their own country, which is called, you don't know, because I will say it now, Andalusia. Andalusia, the word of the Vandals. And you know Vandals were Christian, But there were, where is my sister over here? It's over. There are a type of Christian which were called Arianists. You know, who doesn't, Aries, yes, who believe in Aries, which was a different, we'll discuss about this type of Christianity, totally different from what we have, the Catholicos, Universal Church, different from that one. It was a big fight, and they were Arianists, and the Arianists were very, very, I would say, rigid. So when they see the Roman statues, beautiful, naked, they cut off the genitals, and they cut off the face to make them ugly. So that's why we have the word to vandalize. You see, it's so easy. It's not a big deal about these things. Okay, let's go back on our who discovered something that gets them in power for 1,000 years in Europe. Cement. Yes, very good cement for construction. So they built roads, forts, and toilets, which brings a civilization everywhere. You, as in the United States, I say like Americans, yes, have a very, very wrong impression about the Romans. They were not good guys. The Romans have done in Europe what the Spanish have done in the New World. Conquering a country, if they can kill all the males, married by force with the local woman, and in 2 generations actually building a new nation. In 2 generations they just built a new nation, yes? And that new nation has to live in a luxury. I mean, don't think all of them were luxury. You have 10,000 of slaves who were working, yeah? Then from China, something new came. And this new came was glass. So instead of having a Roman mosaic, when you have been in Turkey, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have been in Turkey, you see a much beautiful mosaic, which was using instead of marble, who has a limited color. This is a problem with the marble. The marble, you have different colors, but not a lot. So if you replace the marble with glass, which is a recently invention brought from China, you have much beautiful mosaics, which are the Byzantine mosaic, that probably you have seen it in, I don't know, Hagia Sofia, if you have been in Turkey and see that mosaic. There are a lot of you. So this is the evolution of the mosaic. First it's marble, so first it's painting, then it's marble, then you have the mosaic, and unfortunately when the Byzantines remained poor because their power decreased, they move it once again to the fresco. So you have fresco, marble mosaic, the highest point, glass mosaic, and once again back to fresco. Exactly like a civilization. Born, grew up, and then becoming older, and finally disappeared. Okay, let's go.